How's it, everyone? We are the Joystick Show. Your three favorite friends from Hawaii are back to talk story about what brings us joy in comics, video games, and pop culture. We'll share a shtick with you, so stick around. If you fancy what you hear, please like and subscribe on the platform you frequent. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if this is your first time, mahalo for spending it with us. I'm your co-host Drake, and that's Thomas.
What up, what up?
And that's Scott.
How's it?
And get ready for us to shtick it to ya with a bunch of topicals we got for you tonight. But Thomas, why don't you take us through some of them things?
Oh yeah, that was great. I can't believe you just said all that from the top of your head. It was crazy.
Oh yeah,
you didn't even have to write that down or anything. That's amazing, dude.
Yep.
You're so talented.
Nope. Yep. Doing it.
So yeah, we are gonna start off with our normal trailers, and then we're gonna go into some news and then reviews. Yeah, hopefully it's not a hefty one because we're gonna try to keep it all in one episode.
Yeah.
Ayo.
So
Put it in
one. And we are here with some trailers. The first one was the new Shazam one over the weekend.
Yeah.
A new Shazam trailer over the weekend. What did you guys think about that?
Scott,
Oh
tell
yeah,
us what
let
you
me
thought about
start
it.
with
Oh,
this.
okay.
It looks fun. It looks like a fun movie. The action looks awesome, and the trailer ends with Magic Superman punching a dragon. So pretty awesome. Like
Yeah.
That's true.
we're getting these kind of
Yeah.
movies. It's hard to get mad at these kind of ideas. So I'm ready to see.
Facts. Like, it's funny because I thought Black Adam would be the movie like I would be more excited about, and then it would deliver on this bigger scale. But I feel like Shazam's getting kind of no love, and I'm like, it looks really good. Like, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be very exciting. I don't know. What do you think, Drake?
I mean, the cast is great. You're carrying on all of that momentum that you had from the original. You're adding a lot more weight to it, not only with your casting, but with what you're trying to accomplish just in like your battling and your interpersonal banter between the Marvels. And then I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing all of this CG come together, just because we know Superman kind of, they're fighting around, they're blowing through fucking buildings and shit like that, but this seems even more grandiose. So I'm just looking forward to see it hopefully top itself and where this will take us moving forward in the DC universe, because we know that Mr. Gunn will be taking over.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, definitely.
let's see where it goes.
I wonder if this movie does really well, like surprisingly well. Does he find a way to keep this going in his universe? Like, whatever
That's
his plan is,
interesting.
right? Because there's a rumor that tomorrow he's going to make his announcements for everything. And yeah, I don't know, like if this crushes, like blows all the expectations out of the water, like there has to be some way he keeps this movie going, right? Or does he just now bring him in and he's Shazam still, Zachary Levi?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe. I think it's easier now for mainstream actors to want to dip into comic movies because they're popular, and B, they're pretty much on an Academy Award level. So I think, hypothetically, if it doesn't, if you're Marvel, if you're DC, even like if it doesn't go well, who's to say that you couldn't cast somebody again that maybe could make it better? But that's just thinking a little bit more positively. But
Yeah.
do you think
positive.
different or same, Scotts?
I mean, I think he could probably do well, like especially because Shazam, the first one, there were a lot of moments like catered towards the younger audience, and as we know, like movies that are catered towards children, like if they're good, like they're gonna make a lot of money. So, if this one still keeps that like fun type of, and what we've seen from the trailers, it looks like a funny movie as well. And
Yeah.
now in the second one, they're showing like also action, like cool fantasy battle sequences. So, as long as the kids want to come see it, DC should. I could see it making more money than Black Adam.
I mean, I got a bone to pick with that part on the last
Yeah?
season. It's like it's almost
that boner.
showing me too much though. I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
on
Yeah,
board.
yeah.
Like, don't show me the cool like, don't show me fighting him, the dragon. Like, I see there's a dragon. They're obviously gonna fight. He says something about Khaleesi. There's like a Game of Thrones reference in there. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I need. Like, I know he's gonna fight the dragon. I'm on board. Don't show me the dragon fight in the trailer.
Right. couple things about that.
You're
I
wrong.
think, yeah, you're fucking wrong, bro. No, most trailers towards when it's close to the movie, like that last trailer is gonna show you the most. Unfortunately, right? They're trying to get that last bit of people. But I could also see them like being worried about Black Adam not doing that well. And like, we gotta get someone in here to make this trailer bring everyone in. Like, bring people like Game of Thrones. Keep that line in there. People need to hear it before the movie because a good line's not gonna matter if people don't come out to see it.
Right.
So,
Yeah. It's just like for us that keep track of all the trailers. Like, it's too much for me already. I'm seeing too much of the movie.
I agree.
I just I'm on board. I'm almost like, guys, I'm not gonna watch this one, even though I put it on the list. But I still wanted to be like, I'm not gonna watch it. And that's kind of how I feel about even the next trailer, because I'm on board for Shazam: Fury of the Gods. For the next trailer, the Mario Bros. Movie that's coming out, like, this is now showing me too much as well. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? It's cool. It showed us a little bit more of Donkey Kong in this one, and we see the raccoon suit, I believe, for Mario.
Or is it cat suit?
Well, he calls it a cat suit, but is it a cat suit?
No, so the raccoon suit is the one where you can fly. This one is from like the Super Mario 3D world.
Oh,
and it is a cat, so he can climb walls and he can like jump and like dive.
Oh, okay.
It is a different suit though.
That's funny. I thought they were teasing their own mythology in this. I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't be surprised if the raccoon suit and like the frog suit make an appearance. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But
okay, so to both of your points,
Hmm.
the trailer in itself shows it a little bit more in this case, and I'm kind of a little bit on the fence as well too with you, Thomas. Like, does it show too much? For me, it's not so much does it show too much as if now it's giving me expectations that I want to see more. So, for example, if they don't have the raccoon suit, if they don't have the fireball, if they don't have these other things that I want to see, right? Are you going to pack it into a number 2? Right? Because if you're now showing me things that now I'm expecting to see, you're going to give me kind of that salivation where I'm like, okay, well, what more am I going to see? So now I'm expecting potentially more. So if it doesn't deliver, I might feel a little bit naked.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It's almost like the multiverse of madness effect, where it's like, oh, the whole X-Men is going to be in there, the whole Fantastic Four, and it's like, nah, you just set yourself up. Like, none of them, one of them are coming, and that's it. Whoa, that sounded way more very sexual, but I did mean it to sound sexual. Yeah, they're all coming.
Do you think could Marvel, like, I'm just imagining now that you say that, like, number 2 they show more suits. Like, I'm just imagining a scene where like Mario looks up at a suit that he could get and he's like, next time, baby.
Yeah,
like, runs out like just like
straight out of Iron Man 1.
Yeah. Like, could Marvel sue them for that? Is that like too much of a
I don't know
thing, or is it like a nod? You know,
they're
I don't think
parodying
so.
it, so I don't see
Right.
why they wouldn't. But
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
I hope that'd be great.
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be classic.
Oh man,
All right, we got.
it's a me, a Mario.
Yeah, I'm liking the voice more. How did you guys feel about the Seth Rogen voice for Donkey Kong?
It's like I'm like at this point now where
Okay.
I just
Welcome to Average Reviews by the Joystick.
it's fine.
know, it's
just
fine.
everything's fine. I've
Mid.
I saw a trailer for it in like Japanese, and I think that's probably like everyone's seen that. It's like circulating, like, and I've talked to Christine, like, if they were to release a Japanese version in the States, like, I'd go and watch that, like, for sure, because it'd just be more like me enjoying the property versus focusing on the voices.
Right.
But like Charlie Day sounds like Charlie Day. I can now hear Jack Black in there. Like, he does a pretty good job, but I can definitely hear Jack Black. So I'm gonna just enjoy it for what it is. But it is kind of weird hearing Donkey Kong go like he Seth Rogen laugh like.
I know.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah, he's great though. I love Seth Rogen. Like, I'm down to hear that laugh anytime.
Yeah.
There was another trailer that came out called We Have Ghosts. It stars Anthony Mackie and David Harbour. Yeah, it looks just fun. It looks like when Disney used to make family movies, you know, and it seems like forever since we've gotten like a live action family movie. Like, it's kind of kooky, but there's some heart in it, and there's like jokes kids could laugh at, but it's not too scary. Like, it just seems like it fits in that family niche market of comedy in a way. Yeah, what did you guys think about the trailer?
Same. Like, it reminds me of like a Harry and the Hendersons, or like Under Wraps, or like, you know, like there's like this being that becomes the kids' friends, and but it's a modern take, because they're like making viral videos, and like I guess it'd be
Yeah.
like, what could it be like if it happened now?
Mhm.
So it is interesting. It does look like a fun movie, and I love David Harbour, so definitely gonna give it a shot. But it looks like a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree in that sense. Like, cast looks great. It looks pretty hilarious. One of the writers, what is that individual's name?
Peter, John, Bob, Roger.
Stephen Derrick. His name is Christopher Landon. Super close, but he's written
Nailed
like I want to say all of the Paranormal Activity screenplays.
Oh, so like he's
Most of
actually
them?
has experience in horror.
Yeah, so from Paranormal Activity 2 and beyond, he's written a screenplay for. He's written a screenplay for Happy Death Day to You. He's
Oh.
written a screenplay
nice.
for Freaky.
This-
So
I like that.
that and Into the Funny Realm, I think with Christopher Landon on the job, I feel like it can only be pretty decent, I guess. For obviously, I haven't like seen it, but
Yeah.
with the cast plus the screenplay, I think potential
Yeah.
hit. We'll. I mean, obviously, we'll have to watch
Yeah,
it.
chances are good. It's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be scarier than the trailer makes it seem, because that guy's had a lot
Yeah,
of
for sure.
experience in horror. So the trailer looked like Casper, but with David Harbour. Like this is
That's funny. I was thinking that. too.
right, but this like with that writer attached to it, it actually sounds pretty scary. So although he's
Yeah.
kind of like all the experiences that or I guess all the films that he's written for are like sequels. So the guy's like the master of like sequels apparently. So we'll see how that ties into the overall film here,
Right.
but could be pretty good.
Also interesting that it's like in February. Yeah, like February's a weird happy, like you mentioned Happy Death Day, that came out in February as well.
Oh really?
Like
Yeah.
February's a weird month. I guess it's also a horror-esque month.
Apparently.
Does
Maybe
well.
maybe it ties into like Valentine's Day, so like love and death or some
Maybe.
shit. I don't know.
Oh yeah, okay.
Wow.
Makes people horny or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Philosophical, man. Love and death are opposite sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
We got another trailer for another scary movie. This one actually looks scary, and it's based off a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
It's called The Boogeyman.
Boogeyman.
I dug it. I really dug this trailer. Like it looks spooky. The whole idea of with lights. There looks like they have this girl who's like a knockoff of the girl from Coda. It looks good. Sorry, she does, but to me,
She's like Wish Coda.
yeah, that girl that sings really well in it. Yeah, I was like, oh, it's the girl from Coda, and then I'm like, no, it's not. It's like her, not so. Wow, that's just gonna be bad. I'm not gonna finish that. But
It's just not gonna be as good as Coda, but it looks pretty good.
yeah, let's just say that this trailer, this movie's not gonna be Coda, okay, people.
It's Stephen King's Coda. We're watching.
Yeah, the Boogeyman does sign language. It's really inspirational. Okay.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the scary movie Mama?
Yeah.
Where they find those two girls out in the woods and there's like a mom kind of like lingering in the back because she took care of them or whatever.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of a similar vibe that the Boogeyman is giving to me. Obviously the premise is different because it's based off of the Stephen King book,
Mhm.
but I mean it did freak me out, just like the vibe of the whole thing. And I believe they filmed in New Orleans, which gives it another layer of
Nolans.
like creepiness. Because Nolans in a dog time, real creepy.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
if you want to shit your pants or just be scared with a loved
Me.
one, so you have a option to just touch them in the dark, watch this. I think it's going to be one of the more scary films that we see this year for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, man. It looks great. So I'm on board with that. We got some news. We are in the news portion of everything.
News.
Yeah, we got some
News,
video
news,
game
news.
stuff to talk about, which it's been a little dry for a little bit. And we finally got a little bit of movie and show tie-in, and then we also have some like actual video game news, which is pretty cool. But the first thing on the docket is we have a new Tomb Raider movie that is being worked on by Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who was in Fleabag, and she is also going to be in the new Indiana Jones: The Dial of Destiny. She plays Indy's like stepdaughter. She's real funny. I don't know. How do you guys feel about her taking over a Tomb Raider property? Because I don't think a Tomb Raider is like being a funny thing.
Yeah, but then they're also like, I'm not familiar with what she's written, nor was I familiar with what like John Krasinski wrote, other than some of what they did on The Office, and which was a funny
True.
show, right? So maybe it's gonna be like that. Like some, as we've seen with some really top comedians, like they know drama. They're like TNT. They know drama. So it could be really good.
Definitely.
Oh.
Robin Williams was a fantastic dramatic actor. Jim Carrey's been a fantastic dramatic actor. So yeah. What were you gonna say, Drake?
No, I was gonna say she wrote for Fleabag, Killing Eve.
Oh, she wrote on Killing Eve?
She wrote a screenplay for No Time to Die.
Oh, wow.
007 film in 2021.
Well, there you go. You got your spy, espionage, and female comedy. Like, boom. There could be your new Tomb Raider movie. That's simple, people.
I'm kind of interesting. Now. Well, typically I want to say she acts in the movie. I would assume she would also act in the movie.
You think she would be in Tomb Raider?
Yeah, I potentially. I mean, because she did act in Fleabag, and she was writing it as well. Right. Because she was a creator in that as well.
How would you feel?
I would assume that maybe she'll play a role.
Croft? Would you dig that?
I mean, I could see it. I'd need to see a little bit of gym work.
I hear you. She's got to get.
I mean, I want to see. I mean, she's got to get. Yeah, biceps, maybe some abs,
triceps,
some squats.
Yeah,
biceps, tries.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, I wonder. I'm really curious to see how she is in Indiana Jones, because I think that'll really let me know how she can do in a Tomb Raider movie. You know, because there's drama in it, there's action in it, there's comedy, but I don't know. I just kind of need to see how she is in that, and that will kind of give me hopes, I think, for a Tomb Raider movie.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt.
Yeah.
Another game got released that I believe Crystal Dynamics worked on it, but it's called Forspoken. I was really pumped about this game, and I was watching the Before You Buy, all that from Game Ranks, and just kind of seeing some of the reviews and IGN, and it seems like there was a lot of cool elements, and the premise is cool, but it does not sound like the game really lived up to the hype. Did you guys hear anything about it?
I'm unfamiliar with it, actually.
It's
I dropped the ball. I had it. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine.
it's a Square Enix like action adventure type situation. I think, in my opinion, a lot of it kind of dwindled because Square Enix has done things before, and this is kind of off kilter as it pertains to kind of like the stories that they do end up telling.
Right.
I know that there's magic involved and there's lots of combat involved. I believe they touted like a horde mode and things of such, and like having boss characters and all that jazz. But I don't know why it didn't hit, and maybe it's because there's so much other things that people are looking forward to, like Cyberpunk DLC coming out and or Hogwarts Legacy coming out soon. Right. So maybe it's just mixed in bad timing type situation, because I know there's a lot of news coming out for Elder Scrolls Online. So I don't know, maybe that's just that. Yeah. Have you I mean, because you've watched the Before You Buy on IGN, how did you feel about that? Did it make you want to buy it?
No, it didn't. And I'm a pretty easy mark because I liked Marvel Avengers. So if I like Marvel Avengers, like anything should look good to me, I think. Yeah. But it didn't really look that appealing. Like there's a lot of dialogue in the game. You play this girl from New York that, is an orphan, then cast into this magical world, and she has to figure it out. And like that premise by itself sounds actually really interesting. But then you get into the world and the environments and kind of the story, like some parts of it look kind of cool, but not enough for me to go out and spend $70. Like it just didn't hook me. Like there's these parkour elements and stuff, but they're like, it's fun to some degree, but then it gets really boring fast. There's wide open environments where there's nothing for you to really do. It's kind of looting. Like, again, I've just played this in Marvel's Avengers. I don't need another game that's going to do this, and then I don't even get to do it with my friends. Yeah. So I'm just going to be running around this open environment just like looking for stuff. Like that didn't sound really great. I have heard that the magic and the action and the fighting in the game is really cool. But again, it's just like not if this game got even a decent review, I would get it. Like, I would buy it for sure. But since like people were so down on it, it just really kind of turned me off on something that I'm not really connected to. Like, at least Avengers, like I like the MCU. I like those Avengers stories. Like, that will bring me in. I'll obviously read the comics too. So this doesn't have any of that. So if you're telling me just the action's good, like, I'm out.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay, we got another news. A game that we played all together on the show before, The Forest, now has an updated version, a new version called Sons of the Forest, and we have some Hogwarts Legacy updates. Drake, take it away.
So Scott, I know you've played. You and I, we've all played The Forest before, but I know that you and Kobe had talked about Sons of the Forest a bit ago. From what you've seen now versus what was talked about then, do you think it's living up to the hype?
That says it all.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks really cool. I mean, the graphics alone, right? Like for me, in this type of horror-esque game where you work together and whatnot, like I think for me in particular, that's enough to bring me. Because I already enjoyed we were late to the Forest game.
Definitely.
When we started playing.
Yeah.
And the graphics were already dated. But I did like the survival aspect. Co-op gameplay, which we talked about. It's hard to find like a nice co-op game that's not just like a shooter.
Facts.
Which are great, but you know what I mean? And yeah, and then it's like that, but like I was already kind of creeped out by the old version of the Forest, like those weird demon things we've seen for the first time. And like with these new graphics, I'm like, oh my god, like yeah, I'm already excited to play. So I guess my answer is still excited. So I don't know. Maybe Thomas has a better answer on that.
No, not really. I agree with you. Like, I'm definitely more on board with this game. It sounds like they took everything that was good about the Forest and like updated it, and then also like things that weren't good about the last game and then updated those or found solutions. So it's like now you can, we spent like an hour chopping wood. It sounds like you can send an AI out that will chop the wood for you, and then you can go and do the fun stuff, explore and like, I don't know, fight things, all that kind of stuff. Is like, I probably have ADHD, I don't know, but I have a super short attention span. And like, I want to be doing fun things. Like, we were all chatting and stuff, but like, if I was just going to chop wood with my friends, I'd just like visit you guys and like go to a forest and literally chop wood.
Just chop some wood.
Just the annual retreat. So you're right about the AI. So there's going to be multiple AI characters. They've revamped the building portion, so there's not going to be those like clear blue situations. So everything's going to be a lot more realistic. You can actually use your axe to cut the logs to shape them in that sense as well too. So there's going to be a lot more realisticness. As for like the survival element, you and your friends can just jump in and just survive. And really the story is a secondary element that if you want to do it, you can do it, which is the same thing for the first Forest. But this one, obviously, it's even more crazy, more new bad guys. The engine in general. So for example, one of the devs was like, I opened this place and I released some monsters into the world, and those monsters then fought with other monsters within the world. So there's all these elements of things that are happening around you. So I think for sure 100% it's going to be better than what it was previously. Now, that's got a ways to come out. I think it's going to come out closer to February 23rd. Sooner than that, February 10th, February 7th, if you've gotten the deluxe version, Hogwarts Legacy is coming out, and they just released a couple days ago a final, like, this is everything you need to know about it. So from straight off the bat, once you can pick your house, you can pick how you look like. You're a fifth year student in their first year. Classes are going to be kind of nonchalant. They're not necessarily going to be like Persona 5. You can pretty much fly anywhere. You can go anywhere. So whatever you can see, you can go into, supposedly. Then you have like the availability to go into the room of requirements so they can create new stuff, which they may or may not monetize later on. And then you have this. Do you remember in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? Newt had that place where he went into, and then there's like a huge like forest situation.
Wait, this is a Harry Potter?
So you can.
No, I'm just kidding. Yes, so I know what you're talking about.
Pretty much. So all the Harry Potter. So you have that in the game. So when you start collecting and saving some of the fantastic beasts, they end up there, and you can kind of have like a similar type of vibe to taking care of the animals, and they'll give you things for taking care of them.
That looks really cool, that part where you can go in that room and you can like build it out as well. And like the happier you make the creatures or whatever, the monsters, whatever, like the more resources and things they give you. I'm like, that's a cool concept. And it looks cool how it's like free building. Like there's not certain places you have to put a building or whatever. You can kind of like build it out however you want. So there's that kind of like open element to it as well. It looks, man, I think you hit the nail on the head on everything you detailed, but it looks really fun. And I think people were skeptical because some of the earlier footage didn't look that great. But just being able to like jump on your broom and go anywhere and go straight from the broom to water to a cliff, the only interesting thing, which I mean, it makes sense. It's a kid's game, but you can't like jump off of your broom from like 50,000 feet, which, I don't know. I'm sadistic maybe, but like, they'll be like, that's kind of cool. But you can't do that. You have to be at a certain low, like a height requirement to like land, and then you can jump off your broom. But dude, it looks pretty damn good. Yeah.
That's cool.
What do you think, Scott?
And even on that note, like, my brother-in-law, who doesn't really play much games, partly because he has a new son now, but even before that, he wasn't really a gamer.
No excuse.
Yeah. So, but even before that, right? He wasn't really a gamer, but he was like, he asked me like, "Hey, you saw that Harry Potter game? Like, I think I'm gonna get it." Like, I think strictly because he's a fan of the franchise, right?
Yeah.
And it does look like a cool game. So this game might do really well if it speaks to people who don't normally play video games as well, right? Like, so I'm thinking it might do, because he doesn't really like bring up video games with. And like, it was interesting that he was I think I'm gonna buy that. I'm like,
it's bridging gaps.
Yeah,
that's
what's up.
That's surprising. I mean, for sure. Like, I told Christina, I was like, hey, I know you're busy with school and all this stuff, and you don't normally play video games, but I was like, I still want you to make your own character, so and then we can go through it, and like kind of like what you and Christine did with The Last of Us is like we can kind of play it together and then go through the story, and like her character's journey may be different than my character's journey and all that stuff. So it might be one of those things where it brings some people into gaming, which is tight. And then on the flip side, I think we're about to touch on it in a little bit, which is The Last of Us, which I also think will bring people into gaming. So like, what a crazy year of just like awesome titles showing people like how amazing game stories can be and how amazing like just games can just be in itself, because you get to see a different element of those stories. So that's
for sure.
Super
didn't the Last of Us the first game, like, it made like another like record sales, right? Because the show, I believe.
Oh yeah. I don't remember what the percentage is. It was like it sold like 227% over prior year because on the release of the show or something. Yeah, I mean, it was so cool. Damn good. I mean, like, that episode is like one of the highest rated episodes of any TV ever. It was so damn good. But we'll get into it. Last bit of news before we get into reviews, which we're gonna quickly do, is hey, for all of our Love Island fans, it is back. Bump, 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 bump. It's really good.
Probably the theme song, right? Is that the theme song?
No, I just came up with that on the spot. So it was just in my head.
That could be the theme song.
It was a terrible version of the theme song. It was so bad. I should just have like cut the theme song in there. But it's come back. It's trashy reality TV that I love. All these funny British slangs. So if you hear me coming up with all these like ridiculous British accents and saying these ridiculous British terms, like, that's where it's coming from, people. So season 9 just dropped today on Hulu. All right, we're gonna get into some reviews. We're gonna start with The Last of Us, but Drake, I believe we have an ad. Can you?
Oh yes.
Give the people the ad.
Here we go. Rust is an iron oxide formed by the reaction of iron and oxygen in the catalytic presence of water or air moisture. The Last of Rust is a solvent made to help your tools last through the end of humanity and the world as you know it. Corrosion can destroy your greatest asset as well as your morale. Don't be the last to notice your own defeat and keep everything in working condition with The Last of Rust.
Oh man, that's great. We got to get The Last of Rust. That sounds perfect.
Yeah. That sounds like a good product.
That does.
It's a great solvent. It's like the opposite of WD-40.
Yeah, like if I have like a rusty door or maybe like a barbed wire chain fence, like I'm gonna need The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to keep it going, especially with all the decay, the fungi around.
Oh yeah, yep. Those things will get you. So let's get into
It'll
our
get ya.
first review, which is The Last of Us Episode 3. And yeah, man, oh my god. I'll just kick it off to you guys because I've talked about it before and I'm gonna get emotional. I'm gonna try not to, but I might.
Emotional.
Yeah. Oh my god. Go for it, Scott.
Let me just start with Christine just got back from a trip, so she's watching it currently. And when we were talking just a little while ago, she came out with like tears coming out her face, and her shirt was wet. And she's like,
Whoa.
keep going.
Yeah.
Like, if you see this episode, you probably know where she's at in the episode. But like,
yeah,
this episode definitely had all the feels. I didn't know it was gonna be exact. Like, I thought there was gonna be more Nick Offerman and Joel in present time.
right.
Like, that was just me, like, based on the previews. But the way they did it was like, I wouldn't have had it any other. Like, it was the way they told the story between Nick Offerman and this Frank that he meets, who stumbles into his traps. Friend, then more than a friend, like the
Heyo.
soulmate through this post-apocalyptic world they live in now. Like, such a great story. Like, it felt like a movie, and I know the way it's shot. We talked about this. It's all feeling like a movie. Like, this could have very well just been like a Black Mirror episode or something. Like a one-off movie. In this world, this happened, but it's focusing on these two people and their relationship, how they're dealing with it, and how they're trying to hang on to what humanity they have left. Like, so good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. What about you, Drake?
So playing along with the game plus watching this show, and I had played through this portion already, and so I was really curious from the last episode. Okay, where are they going to go? How are we going to get introduced to these individuals, Frank and Bill? And I agree with Scott. For all intents and purposes, could they have created a lot of drama in the sense of like action and like the stress of having been there, living alone for an elongated period of time? Of course. But I think that's also what the player expected. That's what I did. But having seen that essentially that live through, right, of Bill having met Frank, Bill knowing more, being this hard individual, and then turning into an individual that is, to be honest, the opposite of what we would think or see in the game. And to have that kind of context, in my opinion, gave it much more weight. It gave it much more romance. It gave it much more cinema, as Scott was saying earlier. I agree that I don't know that I would have wanted it any other way. I think it was a great homage to Bill as a character and a great step forward in giving us way more context than the game did. I mean, if that was in the game, I would have probably liked it even more. In this particular case, the movie was better than the book.
Yeah, I mean, or at least, yeah, definitely. I hear what you're saying. Like, better than the game in this case. Yeah, I agree, right?
Yeah.
And this was the first time in the show where we really depart from what the story was in the game, right? Like, because normally, and I didn't play it, which thank you for sharing that, because it's like, I've only seen the cutscenes and kind of like the walkthrough of the game, but you kind of are just introduced to Bill in the game through a trap. And then you're like already in the city, and he's like just taking you through the city so you can get all these parts for the car. And he's already like, he's hardened already from the loss of Frank, but seeing how he was pre-Frank and then during this crazy, like the world is now changing because of this like catastrophic event, and then seeing, him be this person already, and then someone come into his life and then change who he was. It's like, damn, it was just beautiful. Like, it was so beautiful. Like, it was nice. It's like, I said this on a different show too, but like my head while he was like meeting Frank, and like after they do the piano scene and they start falling in love, I was like, that Rihanna song, like, they found love in a hopeless place, was just going on in my head while that was happening. And, but I mean, because I said it to myself, I'm like, man, they found love in a hopeless place. And then all of a sudden, David Guetta's beat came in there and it was like, brr, 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 brr. But thank you. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was just great. I know that somebody else was supposed to, I guess, originally take the role, but damn, did Nick Offerman pull this off and just show.
They used his giggle in there too, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, with the strawberries. And I was like, oh, they let him just,
yeah.
And you get to see, and they let that giggle happen at such a pivotal moment where you're seeing him change, right? Like, he could have been mad that Frank gave away his gun for seeds for strawberries, but that joy of like, oh my God, strawberries, we don't have this, and now we get to have this in this moment, and then that giggle he lets out, it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's a completely different person, even just the way. Let's go back a little bit. I'm just curious, like, the world shuts down, right? You hide out. What's the first thing you guys do? The whole city's empty.
I'm going to Bill's.
Okay.
Battery Bill.
Right. He was Battery Bill. That's for real, though.
Battery Bill.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you thought about this. Drake. I feel like you have an answer.
No, of course. Yeah, of course. I mean, I have a go bag. I have firearms. I have a bit of ammunition. I've been relatively in homesteading for a little bit, sort of, kind of.
So you're Bill.
So. Yeah, I mean, not necessarily. I think he has way more skill than myself and patience in that sense. But the overall plan being in Colorado would be much different just because there's military bases around. It would depend on the infection. It would depend on what's happening. Mm-hmm. But the idea would be to fortify yourself first and foremost. But before I throw it to you, Scott, I did want to say in the game, when you meet Frank essentially has gotten bitten and he hung himself. Because he was trying to escape from Bill because he was just kind of tired of dealing with Bill's
bullshit
ideas. Yeah. But with this, you still got that, but there was again so much more weight because they were intertwined, right? They were together. They were lovers. They were romantic partners, and that just gave the arguing more cuteness to me, right?
Yeah.
It gave it more realism.
Yeah.
I don't know that the game did it. The game definitely didn't do it better. Like, had that been in the game, man, it would have changed the dynamic of the game. So I'm really glad they went that direction. But, yeah, Scott, how did you feel about the sitch?
Yeah, I thought it was beautiful. Like, in the way you're saying, like, the way the game plays out, like, that's definitely a scenario that could happen. Relationships can go that way. But the way we got it in the show, like, I did. It's like all the things you kind of want to happen are happening for them, and then like you are hit with Frank being sick, and you're like, no, like that was like I thought for sure, like Nick, how they played it out, you think Nick Offerman's gonna die in the street,
right?
I thought it was a dream.
Call Joe.
They threw a massive curveball in there, right? I didn't play the game, but I watched that moment. Frank dies, and Bill does it, but you're like, wait, are they changing around so Bill does? Like,
exactly.
That threw me off for a second.
Right, and then he wakes up, and then it starts with like, oh, he's okay, but Frank's like he's living life, but like it's deteriorating. They don't have proper medicine. He's probably just like we saw he's living like really miserable. The only thing he loves is Bill. And like, and it was sad. Yeah. But it was like beautiful in a sad way. Like even like to the end with the like when he's like, this is what you're gonna do. Like I need you to like make this a good day for me. This is how it's gonna play out. And in the end, like I'm gonna take this poison. Basically, I'm like, fuck, dude, like that's
heartbreaking.
That's like so hard to. Yeah, you can't help but put yourself in that situation, like in both shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh
Romeo
my
and
God.
Juliet.
Yeah, basically. And
he
then
says it's not
Nick
one of those things. I love that line though. He's like, it's not one of those like tragic love stories where this we go out with each other kind of thing. And it's just like they are even touching on the cheesiness of that. but yet that is the scenario, that is the moment, that is the emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
Yeah,
it was so
it
fucking
was
good.
so
man.
good.
I just
Yeah.
It was so good.
just being able to see someone's life play out, but also like the arc of their character, and also seeing how even despite the world being in complete and utter chaos and everything else around in the world seemingly falling apart, like it took this type of catastrophe for someone to truly be themselves, and that they found themselves because of this, not, you know, I guess in spite of this whole thing happening. I think that was just super beautiful. They played it off so well. And I also like just wanted to shout out Murray Bartlett, who played Frank.
Yeah.
Like I tweeted it. He's having a stellar year. Like I just watched him.
Beautiful chest.
Great chest. Fantastic. But I mean, he was in White Lotus, and then he was in Welcome to Chippendales, where he played it. He was awesome.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, that was a choreographer. He was amazing in that. He's now Frank in this. I'm
Killing
like, dude,
it.
this guy, like, if he's in one more thing this year, like, he wins 2023 for me. He's like so
awesome.
damn good. But just like the you know, I use this word a lot, but the juxtaposition of their characters, you know, like one being so closed off from the world, one being open, like we need friends, like one being like, no, we need to just, you know, I need to take care of you and me, and like, no, like we need other people in our lives to, like, you know, it's basically this, are we just surviving or are we thriving and living, right? And I like love that it changes Bill's idea of like, hey, we don't need to just survive, like, you know, you're letting me live. And I just love that, you know, because, you know, that's the whole, what you hope when you find a partner, is that they bring out another side to you and let you see the world differently and better than you could have seen it yourself. And that's just yeah. And then this
and
episode
it's
encapsulates that.
Yeah, and it's like that safe route in life versus taking chances and like possibly living a better life. Like that whole like, hey, we could be alone here, and yeah, it's great, but like that whole like we need friends. Immediately, I'm on Bill's side. I'm like, what are you talking? Like, no, like we're not inviting anyone here. They're crazy, you know. Like,
I'm so the Frank.
And then of course you're like, oh, it's
this
Joel
relationship
them.
between us. I was like, yeah, they need friends. You want to just do that every day? That sucks.
No, but then it's like, because you think like your main thing is like survive, and then you care about the person you're with. You're like, if anyone else comes in, like we're at a higher percent chance. Like I could lose you. Like I know I can take care of myself, but now I can lose you. Like what's going on here? Like
there's a lot more to lose.
Yeah, and then Frank's perspective is like, are we really living if we're just doing that? Like it's worth the chance. Like this could go wrong or it could go great, and it did. Right? They met Joel and Tess, and like it was like the best case scenario, you know, and that can happen as well. And it was interesting too. Like I like when they're gonna leave, and he was like, we should create a code. Like 80s music means this, and it kind of dies out, and then explain that, and then circle back to what Joel is saying, like, what's her name? I was asking like why the music.
Well, Ellie, Ellie talks about in episode 1.
Yeah, exactly. And then now she's like, wait, why is it playing? He's like, it's on a timer. So because he died, it kept going. And that's why they heard the thing. And like, I'm like, cool. I like that. It was covered in like 30 seconds altogether, but it was like a good tie-in and explains that.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you guys feel? So my general thought was like, I thought they were gonna go when Bill got shot and Jack was outside. Frank. Sorry, what the fuck? Frank was outside. He's pulling him back in, and he's trying to save Bill. Yeah. And I thought when Bill closed his eyes and everything that happened post, I thought that was a dream. I thought he was dreaming of what their life would have been like had he lived through it, and that, you know, somehow it was gonna be crisscross applesauce when he woke up, and then we would get the scene where Bill finds Joel, and Bill's now hardened and aggressive and angry, and that's why he wants to beat up Ellie, etc.
Right. Well, I was thinking like there has to be a moment where Bill meets Ellie, because that's what happens in the game. But I'm so glad that they didn't cheap it out with a dream, because I would have just cheapened out the whole relationship and the whole arc. Like this had to have stakes. And it does, because they live this life, and you've seen them almost lose each other to raiders, to just being different people, and to taking chances. And it's like through all of that, they were each other's still best friends, and you know, they loved each other, and they were literally, as Ron Swanson says at the end, like, I'm satisfied, you know, I'm happy, you know, you are my purpose, and if you're gone, I don't have anything. And it just was, oh my God, just loved it. Loved it so much.
It does kind of during times of crises and times of like instability, a lot of these types of things makes you like question like, humanity, right? Like the raiders coming through just to grab stuff, or like all the people who are just in it for themselves. Very interesting how that kind of plays out in the things that we watch and
For sure.
all that other tie-ins and things.
Yeah.
Any Hoosers.
Yeah, go for it, Scott.
No, I was just saying, sorry. It's kind of a tangent, but it's connected to this episode. I was really impressed with, like, as soon as they all left and he's like, all everything's clear, he like Home Alone the shit out of that place like real quick.
Yeah.
Like, I was interested to know how long it really took, because like he had like his thing was so fortified, like pits. And...
He's a boat as a trailer. Like he's fucking smart as fuck.
Yeah. Well, like the way he had like cars stacked on top of each other, I'm like, does he have a forklift? I guess he does, because he went to like Home Depot. Yeah. But I was like, damn, he got like a forklift and stacked these things like Jenga. Like it was crazy. It was awesome. I mean, I turned to Christina in this episode though, and when Bill's going and he's like tapping the gas and breaking into like the power station and like building the electric fence, I was like, babe, do I need skills? Like, do I need to learn skills? Because like I can't do any of that stuff. Like Big Offerman, man. And it seems like like knowing what I know about him,
perfect.
It's
role.
like he could probably do that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
exactly.
Last thing I want to like just highlight, because I thought it was just amazing, was just the piano scene, how they're playing the same song, but they play it differently. And like one is more theatrical and entertaining and lively. And then Nick Offerman, Bill comes in and he plays it, slow and deep and really just heartfelt. There's so much emotion in that. I love that. It's just this character study on how two people in the same world can have completely different characters and different views on the world, and it is shown through their action, which we always talk about, like, show me, don't tell me. And this episode showed how different they were. It was so good.
They found out that they were on the same page in terms of like their relationship, their love, from that moment too. That was it was interesting that I wasn't just like, here you go. It was like you said, it was built to it. They showed us.
Even there, like, I think it's pretty obvious that maybe it's not, but to me, it screamed that they even had different politics and the way they looked at government and all those things. But that didn't matter. What mattered was that they cared about each other, that they fulfilled each other's. They filled those holes where we can't fill them up ourselves. Like it is great. Like I don't know. I think there's a lot we can learn from this type of relationship. However you look at it or whatever. But it's like I just feel like there's a lot we can take away from it. That maybe it does make you look at the world differently. And damn it, maybe we should. And maybe we can have more of Frank. His outlook on things, and maybe more of the way Bill was prepared and just some of his skills. Like I want more of both those things in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
And also that scene where they're gonna like get intimate and Bill for the first time. It also made me think, like, I don't know if you guys watch or are a fan of Two Bears One Cave with Burt Kreischer and Tom Segura, but I'm like, I can't wait for someone to deep fake this and get these two bears to like just Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer and just do that whole scene. It's gonna be great.
That's awesome.
I feel like the internet's gonna do it. So looking forward.
Well, dude, let's get that tweet, like storm going and that campaign going, if you will. And
good idea.
Let's go. Let's do it. We end the episode with Ellie driving the car for the first time. It's the same truck as the game, right, Drake?
Yes, and she stole a gun from the hand from the thing as well too. Right. So we're getting a kind of a mixture of availabilities and proclivities here. So she is driving the same truck. They're driving off into the sunset. They're listening to, I believe, the song that was being played on the piano as well.
Yep, it's from the same
by the same person,
it's from the same artist. And I think in the codes, if you look at it in episode 1, it says 70s for danger or something, or like something like that, or beginnings, or I don't know, something like that.
Foreshadowing.
So it was like it's all kind of connected, and they keep having this connected line. So it's really cool that they just like these these deep, like amazing artistic choices that the writers are putting in. That if you pay attention, it's there, and then it just deepens the story.
They're doing a fucking good job, is what
Absolutely.
You're saying.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, man. So such a great episode. Anything else?
Also, did you think Ellie was gonna get attacked by something in that basement when she jumped
down?
Fuck
yes.
Yeah.
I was like,
dumbass jumping down into a dark area by yourself.
I was watching this scene. I was like, Drake's gonna be mad.
Stupid.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, Drake's gonna be mad.
Bruh. bruh. I mean, I know people don't like when kids get spankings, but
Yeah, I'm like, how do you think that's a good idea? You don't tell him. You're like, oh, just sneak down here real quick.
Right.
Like, what?
And not say
And then the way
anything.
she set up the garbage can, I was like, okay, she's gonna have to like jump out real quick.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But-
someone pointed it out, like she was like scoping out her exit strategy on the way down, but I was like, hell no. I'm like in a post-apocalyptic anything. I'm never dropping down in a dark hole. Never.
Bruh.
Like, don't ask me to do it because I'm not your guy. I'm not your guy. So
yeah, don't. Oh my god, it gives me stress thinking about it. Ugh. Ugh.
The Joystick Show.
if you've enjoyed what you've been listening to, we'd really appreciate a follow, subscribe, and a review. Just how we like chatting with our friends, please share this with yours. Feel free to join the squad and follow us at JoyStickShow Joystick Show on Twitter and Instagram, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you feel like submitting topics or questions to be discussed on future episodes, you can email us at joystick.show@gmail.com. As always, thank you, peace out, and make it a great rest of your week.